through study and observation, like I put up there. Being willing to see the measurable and the quantifying ability of the number. Being willing to look at it and everything that pops. You'll find that it's much more spiritual than it is physical. Because these are centrals, these are symbols you're looking at. Numbers are symbols that just mean something. So everybody go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You hear the tone, you hear the energy, you hear that's what you got to pay attention to. And then studying numerology helps you to build your intuitive faculties. Where at a point when you hear a plane crash, boom, you go to the numbers. Oh, damn, it's a Tuesday. Oh, it's under number 9. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Lloyd, me and Lloyd do that. Sometimes I call Lloyd, yo, you see what just happened? Who just died? Look how many numbers. What's the number?
Yeah, we be talking numbers.
When Whitney Houston called, boom, boom, Whitney Houston died. And you know what? We boom, boom. We was at it. We speak in a whole other language. Just like when astrologers come together. Oh, hey, your cycle, your sex time is in this way. They speak in all different languages. Learn your language. That's your universal language. That's your language. Learn it. So 9 deals with the male energy, but 9 deals with also the female energy. I know one female born on the night that her mother tried to kill her in a fire. It's a fire number.
Yes, it is.
And she born September 9th. My mama tried to kill her, and my mama tried to kill her on December 22nd. The number 2, and the 2s is an opposition to the number 9. So see, we look at it. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm like, ooh, she told me that. So I'm like, ooh, girl, you messed up. Your mama tried to kill you. Number 9. And now she's healing from that. Respect to her, and has become a very profound healer of helping other women through the trauma. So what you gonna do with your trauma when you go? What you gonna do with it? Every one of y'all should take, from the child all the way up, every one of y'all should take this different type of science or this science and take it. It's not new age, this is ancient age. Forget all that foolishness. They put it in new age because they like to separate and divide and all that kind of stuff, create new age, and then the new age knuckleheads start saying, oh, that's pseudo and this ain't this is. No, it ain't pseudo, because there was one guy in the conscious community that said to me, you man, what numerology you gotta do to helping people? I said, it'll help your ass be better. That's what I told him. You'll be a better person if you understand numerology from a whole nother perspective. It'll help you if you understand all of this. So even with the trauma that sister going through, 9 is also that healing intuitive number, because it's the multitude of all these numbers. So you engulf all of this. According to cosmic numerology, if the 9 ends up to be, let's say she was born September the 9th, okay, that equals 18, which is the number 9. That number 9 in cosmic numerology, which some people might call it the pinnacle when you add this, but in cosmic numerology, under this man's system, because he invented his own cosmic numerology, call it the achievement number or alignment number, which the person that called it the achievement number first was this man Kevin Quinn Avery. In this book, Numbers of Life, he called it, he acknowledges him. This guy acknowledges him as the one that revealed the 8, as far as he knowing of him, is the only one mentioning the achievement number. But according to him and the achievement number, if you have achievement number 9, this is your last time being a human on earth. You don't want to be here. You don't want to come here no more. You're tired of this. Everybody don't want to come back here no more. Oh, y'all don't want to come back here. I said according to him. It might be in the other parts. It could be this cycle here. It could be a life cycle. In certain parts of numerology, they call it different things. Don't get caught up in the name. Get taught of understanding the vibration of it and how to rise to its highest. And how to help guide people to stay on its highest. Now, last thing before I finish, I want everybody to find their own sigil.
Wait, before you go.
Yes, darling.
How did you get to the number 9? The achievement number 9?
No, that's if you're born under a certain birthday. Like if you're born on September 9th.
Okay, gotcha.
and that comes up. That in cosmic numerology, under his system, the guy from NASA, he says if you are born with that achievement or alignment number, then this looks like it might be your last time on Earth. But it's up to you. You got to do everything you have to do to release it all out. So 9 is a detox number. It's about releasing, getting rid of it, completing, and do it all. Learn the language. It's a language number. Learn it. If you wanted to learn a language, and you born on the 9th, and you born on the 9th month, and you on the 9th year, 9th day, this is it. You're supposed to learn. Why are you running away from it? Start running to it. Stop being afraid of it, because 9 says you got to finish what you start. Yes, sir.
We were talking about the 9 and your last time coming here.
Right.
First thing that came to my mind was like a cat having 9 lives. So what
Right.
is there any connection with that?
It's similar, but for if you read the number, if you read the name Cat, read the name Cat in numerology. Cat is an old soul, boy. Cat is an old soul. 3, 1. If you do it under one system, right? If you do it in the Pythagorean system, is what? 6. If you do it in the Chaldean system, what is it? 8. That's an old soul karmic number. This is the cat. Very interesting to me when I seen that. Like I say too, 6, they always land on their feet, balance. Cat still balance. 6 is balance. People gotta realize what the cat is here. That's why people keep in their homes. I love cats, to tell you the truth. Like a good cat. You know what I'm saying? Shut up. Shut up. I don't know. Where you going?
All day.
I just said I like a good cat. That's all I said. Lloyd.
I ain't in it.
His name Bennett. He ain't in it. Yeah, what you say?
I love cats though.
They say cats are guardian of the spirit. That's right. And that's the 8, the bastard, all that good. Yes, that's definitely ancestral, and it is an ancestral number, of course. Yes, ma'am.
So does the man in that book say the same thing for people with a life path number of 9?
No, he does not say that for them. Another numerologist may say that. I didn't read that book. I have so many books to look through, but this one particularly, he kept on saying this for some reason. And the first number that you add up when you add the month and the day. When you add the month and the day, that's that 8. If it equals a 9, that's what it's on. I'm saying he says it. Like I said, there's many different people coming in because numerology is something you can expound on. And let me say something. What's the name said this? Neil deGrasse Tyson, a Libra, number 5. Neil deGrasse Tyson said something real key, and I made sure I put it in my thing here. He says, what if I told you it's okay to change your opinion based on the new evidence? What if I told you it's okay to change your opinion based on new evidence? Yes. You're constantly evolving and learning new, but you're going back to there's always a foundation to start with. In martial arts, like I said, you can learn all the basics, but when you get into the various techniques, there's thousands of techniques. Off of the basics you just learned. Just like the 7 keys in the piano or the 7 notes in music. There's multiple different types of music, from jazz to reggae to this, but it's all off the 7 notes. So just pay attention to the basics and then expound beyond that. And one more thing, like I said, I wanted to finish. Everybody write what Kaya was doing with your birthday, write your whole name. Write your birthday, the month you were born, the day you were born, and the year you were born. I want everybody to write down on their paper. I want y'all to find out your sigils for your basic sigils. And I want you to study each one of those numbers on your own. You don't have to tell me nothing. I'm going to show you on the board what I mean. Let's say, okay, this is my birthday, right? 2/1/1967. Why do I have 315/8? 1 plus 2 equals 3. I'm taking the alignment or the achievement number. I'm taking the personality number, which is the 1. This is a 23, which is a 5. And this adds up to 17. Well, actually, when I do this, hold on 1 second. Okay, 9, 10. That's right, 7, 9, 8. And when you add this up, this is 17, this is an 8. So your sigil...
Wait, you lost me.
I'm saying, just follow what you was taught earlier with her.
Where'd you get that 3 from?
No. I'm doing the alignment, the achievement number. Add the 12, the 2 plus the 1.
What What does that mean? Alignment?
See, very good.
Yeah.
The alignment or the achievement number is one of the numbers that, according to cosmic numerology, that's one of the primary numbers you have to look at in order for you to accomplish and achieve your goals throughout your life.
Where the one come from?
That's my personality number. I'm going directly with the one.
I'm lost.
Don't be lost, only lost. Take your time. Watch. I put the month I was born, the date I was born, and the year. In order for me to get the achievement number, I add the 1 plus the 2.
Okay.
That's 3. I want my personality number, and the personality number is already the date of birth that I'm born under.
Okay.
That's the date of birth. The year you're born, you add your year up, and what it adds up to, boom. And then you put that under there. Mine's add up to 23. 1967 adds up to 23, which is a 5. That's my next sigil. That's the next number that I'm going to focus on. I'm just giving you a basic sigil. I didn't go into your name and all that. These are basic sigils that made me create this sigil for myself to recognize.
I'm sorry, can you do that one more time? Because I'm still confused.
How you confused?
Can we do it one more time, please?
How you confused? Achievement number is when you add the month and the day, just like you would add the pinnacle, the first pinnacle. Just the month and the day. Okay?
Okay, achievement number, right?
That's what we call the achievement or the alignment number, okay? You're only taking your personal number, which is the day you were born, and then put that out there as a number. And that's your personal, that's one of your sigils.
The day you were born is the...
Hold on one second. The year, you put the year under now. And that year adds up to a 23, which is a 5. That's mine, okay? Now when I add all this together, it's my life path. My life path adds up to a 17, which is an 8. Now I got all of my sigils. You understand what I'm saying? I have all of my numbers too.
The 5, what's that sigil? What's that for?
That's the year you're born. That was the year you're born.
But what is it? Like you had achievement.
Achievement, that's the year, that's the year number that you're born, like the 3rd cycle of your life, like she was talking about the 3rd cycle of your life.
Yeah, so that one
Yeah,
actually a cycle.
yeah, that's it, that's like your 3rd cycle. Like I said, I'm not caught up on labels. I'm just caught up on what it is and what I'm creating here. And then you look at your individual numbers, the individual 4 numbers that you come up with, and write down only the positive of that number. And those are the affirmations of each number that you must use. And you can constantly use it as an affirmation. Even if it's 1, it's just like I use this as expansion. I use a 3, I take one word and make it expansion. So I know that's the expansion. So I always got to think on that expansion level. Number 1, I use that as the leadership or the creative number. So I always use that as creativity. I always say that's creativity. I have to maintain my creativity. 5, I got to maintain my flexibility or the adaptability or my freedom. So I always think on either one of those words. I'm trying to give you basics so you can always resonate on those one-word things that will take you out of any type of slump. The 8 deals with money and power, so I always know that I got to circulate money. I can't spend money. I circulate money. I'm not even spending money. Spending is negative. Reverend Ike said that. He was born June the 1st. Reverend Ike said that, or 10th. But he's born June, one of that one. You got to stay on top of, these are just basic numbers to help each one of them, the meaning of each one of the numbers to help you understand that each number can help you to stay on a higher vibration if you learn to develop sigils. I can draw sigils out of them. You can take this and connect 1 to it, or the 5, and then put the 1 here, and then put the 8 down here like it's an infinity sign, and that could be a sigil.
Oh, so this is sigil number.
Sigil numbers, not just words, right? Because nobody said, everybody keep on saying alphabets and words. No, I'm using numbers to create your sigil.
Wow.
That's what nobody doing it.
That's fire.
Bang! That's what I'm talking about. That's why I did it. I'm trying to tell you, think outside of the box. Don't think it's up to you. This is King Simon's world. I'm just introducing you to what the basic that I started doing. And then I saw it work for me. So, sigils, if you buy a sigil book that do with the alphabets, or you say what you want, I want money, and then you turn all of those letters into numbers.
I never thought about doing it with numbers.
Exactly.
That's fire.
But you're taking the meaning of each one of the basic meaning of each one of these numbers, and that's what you're resonating on to make yourself better. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing crazy.
That's heavy.
Very simple. And that's why Copper Vibration, raise their hands, they're the ones that made this visual for me that I can wear for myself. And I can look at it all the time, but I have it on my wall, I have it on my chalkboard, so when I go to expression, even when I'm down, I look at my own visuals. You can meditate on your own visuals. It's your own charge, it's your own mathematical visual charger. It recharges you. You understand? All right, I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I hope I had a good time. Let's bring up Lloyd. Let's bring up Lloyd and Kaya. Lloyd, Kaya, come on. Give her a lot, Lloyd, Kaya, a lot, Lloyd. Oh, great. Now, I know, look. Hold on, calm it down. I know, y'all gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. It's just a matter of study. Like we've been saying. Lloyd, now, any questions for any of us? Please, let's start it off slow. I don't want a bunch of people. I want to go man, woman, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man. That's where I want to go. Okay, sister.
What book can you recommend for the Chaldean system? Because when I get to 9, I don't know what to do.
Say that again?
When I'm doing so much traffic on the Chaldean system, when I get to 9, if their numbers, if their name equals in a 9,
Hold on.
I don't know.
No, I mean, why I hear your voice because you're too light. 1, 2, go ahead, say it.
In the Chaldean system, when I get to 9, well, I need a book or some more information that tells me what to do because I don't know where.
Yes, in there. The one, the orange one.
Yeah, but no, it's not.
No, but there is another book exclusively on Chaldean numerology.
Yeah, so that, because in your book, if you speak about it,
But I touch on it, but not as much as somebody who wants to go further down the rabbit hole with it. But they now have a lot of books on Chaldean numerology where they did not before.
Right.
90% of the books more had just the 1 to 9 Pythagoras. But as the Chaldean began to make its influence in it, now people are writing books exclusively on that too.
Okay.
And in fact, Linda Goodman wrote a book that included Chaldean numerology.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Pass it to that brother in front of you. Pass it to that brother in front of you. Go ahead, brother.
This question's for Lloyd. You had mentioned earlier in regards to the planets and how they correspond to numbers, but you said they changed. So I was wondering, I think it was more the planets or how we look at the planets may have changed. So
Well, what happens is there were originally 7 planets that governed the 12 zodiac signs. Then they came up with these 3 additional planets, whereby Saturn was once the ruler of Aquarius, my sign, and Simon's sign. They discovered Uranus and reassigned it. Why, I don't know. And then Jupiter was once assigned to Pisces. Then they discovered Neptune and reassigned it to Neptune. And then Pluto was once originally ruled by Mars, for which they discovered Pluto and now reassigned it. So I teach students, and anytime you're confused, always go with the original 7 planets and you won't go wrong. Then they came up with a 13th planet or something like that, a 13th zodiac sign. It drove people crazy. And I know that I was popular with the media for about 2 weeks, but I told them it wouldn't last because people are used to, first of all, people can hardly even pronounce the name of this new sign they found. Then it moved it back where I think it started around November, and it pushed everybody's signs back. So everybody was calling me, are they still this sign, still that sign? It's just confusing, that's all. Good question.
Dr. Strayhorn, I have a question.
Lloyd will do it. Yes.
If, say my stress number is a 3, if I am doing business in a 3, would that be challenging for me? If my building was a 3?
Well, yes and no. In a sense that, let's say you're a Gemini, which you are. 3 is the opposition number to Gemini. They all see 3 and Gemini, which is 5, are actually very much alike. Very friendly, personable, people skills, popular, but they both suffer with the nerves. So it's like both of them having a bad day at the same time. Thus, it will cause some problems. But you see what happens is, as Simon and Kaya and I know, none of the numbers are bad. They're only bad when you don't understand them. That's why knowledge is very important. That's why they want us sleep. As long as you just read the little horoscope descriptions in the newspaper, that's fine. But to understand those exceptions to the rules. So there's really no number that gives me a bad problem. I understand them all, and that's what makes that person who they are. You know, that saying, to thine own self be true. And part of the problem is because we have no point of reference, we think we can get other people to think like us. As against saying, okay, now I understand how you think. And so this is why in the days of grandparents, is what I was saying earlier, you can have people that's together 40, 50, 60 years. Ain't got nothing to do with no numbers, ain't got nothing to do with no signs. It was for better, for worse, for richer or poorer, or sickness and health. Nowadays they got prenups and prenups and prenups and complicated things. I mean, people are together 2-3 years, that's a big deal.
Nowadays,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Next, pass the mic over here. No, pass it over here.
I just wanted to ask, you guys never mentioned anything about the middle name, and I know that there like is a bridge between the two.
Who, where, hands? Oh, okay, you're absolutely right. The Pythagorean philosophy, which he got from Egypt, says you take your original name at birth, first, middle, and last. Now, in different cultures, they have different things. Like if you talk to Hispanic people, they have their name, their grandmother's name, their grandfather's name. So in their birth certificate, they may have 5 names going across it, and they wind up just being known as Hector Lopez. Okay? So the point is, because I deal with adults, I take the name that you give me, and that's the name I go by. So for example, at the radio station I was working with one time, I forgot the gentleman's name yet, but anyway, he refused to give his first name. He hated it, and he only gave his middle name. So what do? You take the name you most work by. That's what got me into the Chaldean system, because the Pythagorean system said you're supposed to take your original name at birth. The Chaldean says you take the name you're most known by. I bet you all of you got your original names on your birth certificates. Then if you look at what your name is now, they may be similar, you know, and then they shortcut names. Robert becomes Bob, Richie becomes Rich, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of little things that takes place. Question?
I wanted to know if there's any correlation between the number 5 and the color red, because somehow in my research, they kind of intertwine. Like everybody I know that's born on the number 5, their favorite color is red or drop a red
I haven't noticed that, which I will. That's why I call my book Numbers in You, and that's why when I taught Simon, Kaya, or whoever I would teach, that to begin to observe for your own self what is going on. I know that traditionally 9 is assigned, red is assigned to the color 9, okay? Is friendly to the 1, but it could be with the 5, because 5 is the most adaptable of all the numbers. Okay, so
Mercury being the red planet and Mars being a red planet.
No, Mars is called the red planet. Mercury isn't called the red planet.
But what color is Mercury? We look at it as red or?
Well, what, 5?
Yeah, no, you said Mercury. Mercury is kind of looked at as a red.
Here, Mercury, they say Mercury is kind of like metallic gray, plaids, stuff like that, you know? But see, you born on the 26th of August, am I correct, brother?
Yes, sir.
Right, so if I did your birthday, 8 rules black. 8 is ruled by Saturn, so you would look good in very dark colors like black, navy blue, because I'm an Aquarius, and Saturn was once my rulership. I never understood why I like black all the time. Today I decided to wear black. I said, this is how I'm coming, okay? Because I'm black anyway. So that's my attitude. Good question. Yes.
Okay, I have a question for Ms. French. I remember that Lloyd, you were saying that if you have twins, or if it's twins, it's different, names and everything. But like if you're reading someone that's twins, do you go as far as the time they were born, being that they have the same frequency and numbers?
Well, I'm quite sure their name is different, right?
Yeah,
they had
but I'm
different
saying for his birthday, if you're breaking down the birthday.
It will be the same, quite similar, but the name of the personality will be a little bit different. So that will be the difference between their birthdays and their names.
But
they can have the same birthday, but they can have similar characteristics and personalities as well. But even though there are twins, their natal chart is totally a little bit different because each one is born at a different time.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, that's
Exactly.
what I wanted to know.
Yeah, let me piggyback off that. I guess you guys know red pill, blue pill?
Yeah.
Twins. Okay, red pill came last. No, blue pill came last. Red pill came first. And what happens is there's a similarity up to a degree, but it all depends on what was the birth between the twins. You can have a woman have twins like within 2 or 3 minutes apart, and then you can have them born almost a half hour apart before the next one comes. Well, it's in that time that the planets will have rotated, and thus, so the ascendant of one twin may be in one sign, but they're both the same zodiac sign by terms of astrology, but their ascendants may be different.
Yeah.
The moons will be different. So it's a lot of little things. That's why, now you know why the astrologer needs to know your exact time. So you can, and don't guess. That's what got me into numerology, because what happens is I would do a person's chart, and let's say they gave me the month, the day, and their birth, and said they're born at 7:53 a.m. I get the chart, and guess what? They found their birth certificate, and they're born 7:53 p.m. There's a 12-hour difference, so that used to drive me crazy. So with numerology, you don't have to go through that.
Don't have to worry about it.
But if you do go to an astrologer and you want to get an accurate chart, try to find out as best you can the exact time you were born, and that will help.
So I wanted to ask Lloyd and also Simon as well. When you see particular numbers that show up in your everyday, day-to-day life from year to year, and you just keep seeing that number showing up, of course that number's trying to say something.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you don't understand what that means. And also from a
I
trauma
was going to
aspect.
tell you the book. Great minds think alike.
And then also from a trauma aspect, I wanted Simon to answer that as well.
Okay, those are called angel numbers. When you see numbers all the time, I'll see 1204, 140. It's always adding to a 7. That's me. That's my angel number. I'm sure all of y'all got numbers too. You wake up and y'all will look at the clock and look at your watch or something, and then you'll see numbers.
3, for example.
Yeah, if you see 3s, then those will be your angel numbers. But then I have a chapter in the book called Numerology and Thought Reading that says subconsciously is a 3. If, let's say, you're seeing a 3, it may mean subconsciously you want to really expand your career, grow, become that better person, or you may have a Pisces or Sagittarius on your radar, or somebody born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of the month. So it all depends on what numbers, but all of us, I rarely meet somebody that doesn't have a number or series of numbers that they see on a license plate, or whatever the case is. I know she's experienced, and I know he's definitely experienced it.
Same thing?
From a trauma aspect, yes.
So, okay, well, like I said, there's duality numbers. And if you constantly see the same number, let's say you see 111 for the next 3 months, there's something you're not doing. Why you keep on seeing it? Like, when I almost died, and I tried to take myself, after smoking weed for all night, I was smoking weed like I was Cheech and Chong. And we were smoking now, Cheech and Chong did it in a limo. I did it in a little Toyota. With the windows wound up, no air. So all of this weed stuck in my lungs. The next morning, I got up to the number 444. In the morning, like, okay, it means get my life together. I'm smoking, almost killed myself. Structure, discipline, organization, get yourself together, or you're going to take yourself in a 4x4 box, or 4 to 6 inches down, with that 4 revealed. And the next day I cut out weed, the next day cold turkey. Because I seen the sign and I didn't even understand. I was like 16, 17 smoking this weed. You know? But the number 3, what kind of 3s you be seeing? You see 333 all the time?
I see them in singles. I see them multiple.
When is your birthday?
I'm 7/20/82.
You're 7/20?
82.
82?
Yeah, so I'm a 2,
You're-
master number 11.
Okay, so you see a 3. Now, are you holding something in you that you need to release? Like you're supposed to write. You got some writer's numbers. Why you ain't letting it down? You're supposed to be journaling and letting out these thoughts that's coming to you. Stop holding things in. Because you're born on the 20th, right? Number 20 is the number of the awakening.
Yep.
So you're supposed to be awakening to some purpose, something. Let me read something to you from Cheryl, what Cheryl said in his book. This is what I do in my numerology session. I have all these different books sitting around me, and I'm doing the numerology, and then I just start reaching for my spirit, telling me to reach for one of these books to just confirm certain things with you. You do the same thing?
I do the same thing.
We got to. But he says, in this book, it says the 20 is the number of the awakening, also the judgment.
The mic is off.
Sorry, it's off? 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's probably dying. Yeah, but he says this is the number of the awakening. We don't need a mic no more. Yes. Y'all need a mic.
I don't need a mic.
We don't need a mic. Yeah, but that's broken too. It says. Oh, it fell. Okay. It says it's the number of the awakening, also judgment. It's symbolized by the figure of a winged angel sounding a trumpet, while from below man and woman and child are seen rising from the tomb. You're rising up. You're awakening to something with their hands clasped in prayer. You got to get into your meditation to pull that deeply spiritual thing that you have out of you and start jotting. If the 3 keep on showing up on you, you need to write it. And then it says it's a number of the awakening, but of new purpose, new plans, new ambition. Some call to action is in you, but you ain't writing it out. You keep on. See, I don't care how many numbers you see all the time. If you're not acting on the higher vibration of it, it becomes either a negative or lower frequency, and from the lower frequency, it becomes destructive. You got to pay attention to what it is. So this is what it's saying about your 20. You keep on being reminded, but if you keep on ignoring the reminder because of religious, because of what your mama told you, what your daddy told you, you never knew how to do this.
But sometimes, Simon, it's not necessarily that. Sometimes you keep seeing the number, and every interpretation you're looking for doesn't resonate with you.
Because you wasn't taught.
Exactly.
And now you're awakening. You're in the age of awakening now.
That's exactly why you're in this.
Where's the mic? You got the mic? Who got the mic? Go ahead.
She wanted to answer.
Who wanted to answer? You
I
want
want
to
to add
answer?
to that.
Yeah, please.
What are you doing when you see these numbers?
Speak
What are your
Speak out
thoughts when you see these numbers? Like,
What
what
you
are you
thinking?
doing? What are your
What you going
thoughts?
through?
You know, because it's the spirit world contacting you, telling you something to do something too as well.
But the next
So
time,
they're giving you
think
the
about
numbers
it.
in
As
a
an
way
actor
of
back
the
now.
language speak to you.
If you're not sure, think about why.
Yeah, think about it. What are you doing?
I got a question.
Yes.
The brother had the mic. Where the brother had the mic?
Oh.
I'm loud enough. I got a question. If I'm in the year of the 7, and I know we already spoke, Lloyd. I'm in the year of the 7. My personal year.
Yes.
My personal year is the 7. I want to start a few new things that's just like really on me, but should I just be this year just planning and not move forward with it, or just wait till next year? I mean, I've been a year of 8 and my number is 8. I'm in the middle, like, should I push forward with these projects, or just...
No, you still can. The only thing about a 7 is one of those cycles that are found, that most people find challenging, like the number 4. 4 is a box, and that means people got to work their butts off. A lot of people don't want to work no more. Everybody want to take shortcuts, instant gratification, just to add water, okay? Well, 7 is more of a cycle where you got to go within yourself. It doesn't deal with the outside world as we know it, like relationships, monies, cars, houses, clothes, material things. So it kind of makes you get right with God. However, I tell people, if you want to be, because we are in that environment, the way you do it in a 7 cycle, since 7 is magnetic, so what we think draws to us, instead of chasing after these things in the material world, you visualize them on the mental screen of your mind. And by visualizing them on the mental screen of your mind, you know how the elders say you let go and let God? Well, that's what happens in a 7 cycle. So if you're walking around all day and saying, I don't have no money, guess what the source is going to make sure this year? You don't have a penny.
Exactly.
So instead of going left to your money, something tells you to go right. So that's one of the few cycles where you really got to be careful what your thoughts are in a 7 cycle. Because what you're thinking is, it's almost like a self-fulfilled prophecy.
We're going to do a group picture, don't worry. We're going to do a group picture.
I want to add to that. Also, it's time for a cleansing to get rid of things, to let things that's inside out. It's time to cleanse. Spiritually, start some meditation. It's time to cleanse. So you just do some meditation, doing some yoga will actually help to let that emotions and all that stuff out so you can move forward as well too.
That brother had it, Mike. You finished with the mic?
Yes, I got it. Thank you. I got another question for
That mic is
Lloyd.
still terrible.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious because you have a unique approach where you do astrology and numerology. So I've noticed there's a lot of correspondences, not just with astrology, but other occult paths. And I'm just curious how you were able to kind of, I guess, blend them or kind of connect the dots with them.
Well, I initially started out as an astrologer. Now, hello, it's not working. So I originally started out as an astrologer, only because I was very shy as a youngster growing up in school, okay? And because I'm an Aquarius, so I said, well, let me read things on Aquarius, and I read everything I could get my hands on. Come to find out over time, almost every person I met, regardless of their sign, felt the same way too. Even the most confident person wants to know a little bit more about them. And what drove me crazy when I got into astrology, as I was saying before, telling the group over here, I would do the time of the person, do the chart, bring it to them,